This is kind of a interesting 8 domains deviation. We're not going to necessarily just be talking about 8 domains, but a cultural phenomenon has occurred. And so this is being recorded on September 12th, 2025. Obviously, when we came up with this idea, this was pre-other cultural phenomenons that have happened in the last 24 to 48 hours. So I don't really want to address those today, but what we're going to talk about is the Netflix documentary of The Unknown Number with Kendra Lakari and her family and everything that went out. And so one of the things that we can kind of relate to is I'm a parent, you're a parent, you're a therapist, I'm a therapist, you have a teenage daughter, right? And so I invited Alex Barcelona. This is her second appearance on the podcast, so thank you for being here. Yep. Alex has 4 children, 2 teenagers, a teenage daughter, and so kind of more in that realm of like the perspective of a mom as we kind of walk through this documentary. So we've all seen it. I got up at 3:30 this morning, 3:15 in fact.
No, I have a baby. I didn't even do that.
So let me tell you why I got up at 3:15. So for the first time in her life, Miriam, my 4-year-old, had a nightmare and needed to come in and lay in mom and dad's bed. And here's what the nightmare was. This is all the information we got. There's dead poop outside dripping. There's dead poop dripping outside, Dad. And so she crawls in bed and she is just really upset. That's all the information we got.
I mean,
not like
that's pretty gross.
Not like why was it scary? What was it doing? It was just dripping. It was just dripping outside the house. And so she made me go downstairs and look out our kitchen door window. And I came back upstairs. So she came in our room at 3:15. This is the timeline of events. 3:15, she wakes us up. She comes into bed. She tells us the story. 3:30, she cannot go to sleep. She needs the reassurance. So I try to trick her and just like go to our master bathroom, which also has a window. And I'm like, no, babe, it's all clear. She's like, no, Dad, you have to go downstairs and look outside the back window, the door to the kitchen. I'm like, okay, so I do that. I do that. I go downstairs. I come back up. I assure her there's no dead poop dripping outside the house. And so then she's like, she seems satisfied. But she's tossing and turning and kicking me in the kidneys and the ribs and everywhere else. And then at like 4:30-ish, she pops up again. She's like, Dad, I need you to go downstairs and just make sure that there's no dead poop dripping. And so I'm like, okay, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. I'm just going to go downstairs and keep watch. That's what I'm going to do. So I abandoned my wife, left her in the bed with the toddler, and I went downstairs and rewatched the Netflix show Unknown Number. So I'm ready. I ChatGPT'd a timeline of events.
Oh, okay.
With a behavioral profile with possible diagnoses associated with the specific behaviors that she was exhibiting.
Have you guys seen or read like The Cult?
Okay, that's what I was telling him.
The cut.
Yes, from New York Magazine. That's what I was telling him.
You got to.
I was like, it's moving.
You got to. Is she picking up? She good? All right.
Yeah,
good.
see?
All right.
Because the article came out before the documentary.
Yes.
Which is so interesting.
Yeah. I'm only familiar with it through TikTok. Because I'm not going to pay a subscription because you can't read it without it.
Yeah.
But people were screenshotting it, and then you can like read it there. It's interesting. It's a lot more in depth than the documentary on Netflix was.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I was doing with ChatGPT.
Yeah.
She needs to bring it closer.
Yeah, both of them.
You guys need to bring it closer. You need to be eating the mics. Eat the mics. Yeah, so that's kind of what I was doing with ChatGPT. I was like, I need you to like bring up other media outlets and the information that's available and create this timeline. So, Bo, if you'll open up ChatGPT.
You got a lot of Kendra, though.
Yeah, so go to the Kendra Lakari. There should be like a timeline. It's like Kendra Lakari details or something, and go to the timeline. It's probably towards the bottom of the thread.
Yeah.
All right. So this was my idea, that we would just walk through and then just kind of talk through as candidly as possible, just
Yeah.
like our take from parenting perspective, therapy perspective, and just like human being perspectives here.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
All right. So start with the first thing, the first like event, or yeah, it should be like event, behavior, and then diagnoses was the
Yeah.
break. Okay, you got it?
Spot on.
All right.
There you go. Okay, this is the timeline of Kendra Licari's behavior toward Owen. 2019 to 2020, early relationship stage. Event, Lauren, who is Kendra's daughter, and Owen begin dating. Kendra quickly becomes heavily involved coaching Owen's basketball and track team, as well as attending games. She is described as a second mom figure. Behavior, boundary overstepping, inserting herself into her daughter's teenage relationship. Possible disorders, borderline personality disorder, narcissistic traits.
So I struggle with this one because I'm like, she's just coaching the was it Owen's team or her daughter's team?
Owen.
Oh, well, it was Owen's. It was both of their teams. Okay.
It was both. It was basketball for her.
Yeah.
For Lauren.
Yeah.
Yeah. I wonder if we think it's overstepping because we know the outcome.
Right.
So if we don't know the
Yeah.
outcome, it seems fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, that's my take on it.
Mhm.
My dad coached me.
And I've coached my kids.
Yeah.
You know.
I don't know. Her coaching
Owen and
Owen.
yeah.
I don't really know what her. I guess I would be more concerned like if she didn't have a background in it, and it's like okay, maybe why, but also I think you just take it with a grain of salt. I think there seems not an issue yet.
Yeah. Yeah, because it's also like a small town and a lot of times like parents are much more involved because schools are understaffed. They don't have a lot of extra, personnel to help coach these things, so like parents step in. So I wasn't too concerned about that at the beginning, right?
Right, yeah.
All right, so what's the next event though?
2020 to 2021, harassment begins. Event, harassing texts begin allegedly from an unknown stalker. Both Lauren and Owen received dozens of messages accusing them of infidelity, betrayal, or being unloved. Kendra allegedly amplifies the distress by sharing text widely, showing Lauren's peers and Owen's family. Possible disorders, factitious disorder imposed on another, obsessive compulsive traits.
So do we think that it was like some other person that just like
No.
randomly was
No.
bullying in the beginning? You don't?
No.
Tell me why.
I think because I don't like they did a breakdown of like all the people that it could have been, right? And then Chloe, that was framed, she made a TikTok and she talked about it. And it just seems like very odd because growing up, like, I mean, I was well before 2020. I was in high school way before then and graduated before then. But like kids were cyberbullying, but it wasn't like, it was like Star 67. Right? So it, yeah.
You remember
so it
Star
wasn't-
You remember Star 67?
Yes.
I didn't even know Star 6. That would just like blocked your
Yeah, you
caller
couldn't
ID,
see.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah.
Okay.
So you couldn't see. So like for someone to cyberbully and because that's like what they're calling it, or like
Yeah.
stalk or whatever, that seems like very dramatic. Could it have happened? Sure. But like given the events and given like how obsessive Kendra was with throughout the whole thing, like I honestly kind of think it's odd that she coached them. Hot take, only because like what was her motive, right?
Yes.
Was it like
I do think
yeah.
she has like a sexual motive with him.
Oh, 1,000%.
100%.
Yeah.
So again, without knowing what we know, was it weird? No. But
Yeah. Surface level.
yeah.
But also, like, did she start coaching them after they were dating? Because that's weird. If she had already been coaching them and, like, it was small town vibes, yeah, normal, not odd. But, like, if she.
I think it was after.
Oh.
I think
so
Owen and Lauren started dating, and
Yeah.
then Kendra became like really involved in Owen's life as well.
Which is weird. Why?
And then like his friends' lives as well. Like
I saw that
Yeah.
after they broke up, she still went to like a tournament for him, like
Yeah.
3 hours away. Like, but that's like down the road, and so that is already
right, but
classified
then
as weird.
there were also like reports of Kendra making Owen and like his other friends uncomfortable of just kind of being a little too friendly and too nice, and just kind of going over the top to be like the second mom type
Yeah.
thing.
And anyone that refers to themselves as like a second mom, red
I'm
flags.
thinking
Yeah,
like-
it's the
yeah.
same.
If you're giving yourself
Yeah.
those titles,
It's the same guy that goes to the bar and is like, no, other guys are creepy.
yeah. I'm not the. Creepy.
I'm not the creepy one.
So you're saying it's
I
like
watch out
grooming
for
type.
you.
Yeah,
So
yes.
it's grooming.
1000%.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Good. All right. So what's the next event in the timeline?
Late 2021, escalation. Kendra begins encouraging Lauren to sit next to Owen at games. Sit next to him, move your ass, attempting to orchestrate and control the relationship. Behavior obsessive fixation on Lauren/Owen pairing. Uses anonymous harassment to destabilize them while simultaneously urging closeness. Possible disorders: delusional disorder, persecutory type, borderline traits.
Yeah, so I think this is during their like brief breakup. When they had like broken up to try and like quell or satisfy
yeah.
the stalker. And then so she's
Well,
texting her daughter
also,
to like go sit next to her ex-boyfriend. Yeah.
let's also like get into how horrible and vulgar those text messages are.
Yeah.
Especially for like they're still young. They're like
13,
13,
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
That's so young and so horribly vulgar, those messages. And to me, I think she was trying to play both sides. Like, let me make your life horrible, like a savior syndrome or whatever.
Complex, saber complex.
Yeah, like I want you to feel really, really bad, so then I can come and help you.
Yep.
Let me help you. Wild, but
So that's one of the most common threads as far as like a DSM approach is the factitious disorder imposed on
DSM?
another. So DSM is the Diagnostic and Statistical Manual that mental health professionals use to diagnose.
Actually,
So
I
it,
saw
like,
a TikTok on
it-
that.
it, like,
and somebody referenced
outlines-
DSM.
Yeah, it outlines all of the criteria for every diagnosis that we currently can diagnose. So in the DSM, the factitious disorder imposed on another, it used to be called Munchausen disorder by proxy.
Yes.
But now it's factitious disorder. So
Why they gotta rename things?
say what?
Why they gotta rename things?
I don't know.
Don't
But
get started.
they call it like cyber Munchausen in the documentary.
Okay, yes, yes.
And that's what we're talking about is I'm going to, and usually it's there's some type of benefit from the person imposing the factitious disorder on another person. They're seen as a savior. They're seen, they get attention in some way.
Yes.
It's usually medical though. Like most of the,
Right.
have you guys seen, I can't remember it was a show that Amy Adams was in. It's a while ago. But anyways, it was another one of those to where like the mother was keeping the little sister sick and like poisoning her. Because then the mother then is this like
right.
gets all this sympathy and
Yes.
attention
Yeah.
and the just like Lauren, the mother ends up being the key attachment figure that is irreplaceable, indispensable. Like I go to my mom and she comforts me and consoles me and encourages me and says she's going to do everything that she can to protect me, and I feel all of this like this she gets to be the hero. But it's like so this is also kind of factitious disorder imposed on another, but there's also like again borderline personality traits of like just constant boundary violations
Oh yeah.
of like, you know, I'm going to create the chaos, and then I'm also going to be the one who fixes the problem that I create.
Yeah, and leech and intersect myself or interject myself into these
So I think
situations.
of course, like we can't officially ethically diagnose. This is all for entertainment purposes. Like I'm
Disclaimer.
Yeah,
Disclaimer.
like this is not meant to be used as mental health advice or guidance, but the tricky thing is like there's a case that can be made based on the information that we have, right? And again, like a diagnosis on this level would take real in-person, probably overtime assessments. But like based on the information that we have, like factitious disorder by imposing on another. Borderline personality is there. Antisocial personality, just like the amount of harm that she caused without remorse for the harm she caused. It seems like she only had remorse for getting caught for causing the harm.
For sure.
Yeah. So it was yeah. And then there's another one. The OCD, like just can't stop sending the text.
Yeah.
It just can't.
Oh, I think it like snowballs. I think she feeds off of it, like for sure.
Well, and the PTSD, like her
PTSD is in there as well. Yeah.
Her at the end, which I found it ironic that at the end she was like, yeah, and bomb drops, like trauma dumps, like the fact that she was raped and the fact that like there was so much sexual assault, which is all very fair and valid, 1000%. But like that shows too.
But do we believe that?
Yes, because I mean personally, I think yes, because
I do too. Like there's an origin story, and it usually is going to come from some really severe trauma.
Yeah.
Fair. I mean, I believe, but yeah, definitely possible.
So like what my like thought process is, like as I was watching it, and like she reverted back to a 13-year-old girl. She was being mean girl energy when she was texting. Like, it was vulgar. It was, like, obviously, a regular 13-year-old probably doesn't. I mean, in this day and age, they might know what that stuff is.
No, they do.
Oh, yeah.
But, like, back then, it wasn't as, like, that's not how you were speaking, right? But she was giving mean girl energy. 13-year-old mean girl energy. She wasn't going face-to-face. Like, she was not acting like an adult. So, sometimes, which I've seen, correct me if I'm wrong, people that have experienced a lot of trauma, especially sexual trauma, they revert back to that self of when the event happened.
Right.
That makes
Yeah.
sense.
So
yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah. The arrested development. We know that trauma arrests development, emotional development, and so you're looking at a person who is 35, 45, however old she is, and you think like, oh, you're not acting like an adult, but emotionally, she's probably not an adult.
No. Yeah, you have to meet them at the emotional age.
Before anybody wants to crucify us for having compassion and empathy for the
perpetrator,
the bad guy here, we're talking about what explains the behavior. We're not talking about what excuses the behavior, because there's no excuse. So like trauma is an explanation for why I might struggle in certain ways. It is not an excuse for me to continue to struggle in those ways.
Nor is it like a green light to promote
it's
that
not
behavior.
permission.
Yeah,
right.
It's not permission.
Trauma. Trauma explains. It does not grant permission or excuses for a person's shitty behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're just
100%.
making the math.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, this is That's all. That's all this piece is. But like truly, it does. It gives a broader, like a wider view of like why she did the things, and like it makes more sense like that she was communicating as a 13-year-old, because like mentally she was a 13-year-old, and even like the remorse part and like how she felt bad, how she didn't really feel bad, and like the end interview was so wild to me. Like it was like, are you faking it? Are you acting? Like, do you need to be in a movie? Because that's really good acting if you don't feel any remorse at all. But it speaks to the trauma and like how her brain.
It also speaks to like how you said like this, like like the way she was just dismissing all of it is so like juvenile. Yeah. And like, oh, okay, like, I mean, yeah, but. So we all make mistakes, and it's like not those types of mistakes.
When I was working for the state as a trainer for the Department of Children's Services, I trained juvenile justice workers, and so we talked about cognitive distortions among adolescents that cause them to become delinquent. Yeah. And so one of them was minimizing and mislabeling. So mislabeling my behavior, like it's not that bad. It's some of the examples that we would give is like, yeah, I punched the guy, but it's not like I broke his jaw. Right. Right. Minimizing, mislabeling, and then another one is like blaming. I can't really find where she blamed. I mean, she kind of blamed her trauma. But blaming was one of the cognitive distortions that was most associated with like sexual assault, and it's like, well, if she didn't want me to, she shouldn't have been dressed that way. Yes. She was asking for it type of thing. Like I just gave her what she wanted, which is a blaming cognitive distortion. It's also it's also mislabeling what actually happened. And then the self-centeredness. So self-centeredness was the number one cognitive distortion associated with youth delinquency. And it's my feelings are the only ones that matter. And the impact that I have on other people is always explainable through the lens of my experience. Right? So it makes sense why I did what I did because I was traumatized when I was a teenager. And so that type of thinking is, again, like adolescent cognitive processing of the whole deal. So yes, very young, immature emotionally. What struck me towards the end was how messy the attachment that Lauren has with her mom.
Oh, for sure.
And how heartbreaking that was. Because it really showed like why reactive attachment disorder is such a powerful thing among like foster kids and kids who are, have experienced adoption and things like that, because there's never ever a replacement for the biological parent in some part of the child. Right? Like it's just such a powerful pull for a child to always want to be good enough for the type of relationship with their biological parent that they see other people get to have.
Right.
It's nuts. So that was really, really, like, I don't know, like heartbreaking.
Yeah.
To watch Lauren, like, just, I really wish that I could, like, have a relationship with my mom.
Those two videos, like her in the pink and her in the gray sweatshirt, are years apart.
Yeah.
So usually, like in documentaries, like they put like the date, like, or the year or whatever, and I feel like Netflix tried to like a little bit mislead just for entertainment and like viewing purposes or whatnot. But I feel like those things should have been dated, because you do see a much more reserved Lauren towards the end, like in that gray sweatshirt. Like you definitely see like the therapy is coming out then.
She was much more hesitant, much more skeptical.
And she's like, okay, like
a lot less trusting.
Kind of like, and I don't know, when I did watch it, I don't know if that was just her kind of like going through the motions of like repeating what I know I should believe or what I know I should be saying, or if she was really feeling that in her heart. That to me, I wasn't sure if that was a genuine, like, I don't have contact with my mom. I mean, I know she doesn't, but like, I'm curious if truthfully she still wants that. I mean, I feel like she would have to. I mean, I know we'll get to the part where she found out it was her, because that was handled horribly.
Yeah.
In my opinion. But it just seems, I'm curious if she is truly understanding of how manipulated she was, or if she's not there yet, because she is still so young. She's not even 18 yet.
I think she is 18 now.
No, because
she's not?
I don't believe so, because
she might be 16.
She's not allowed to have contact.
So her mom gets out of prison
already
in February of 2020. Oh no, the no contact order ends February of 2026.
Correct.
So this started happening in 2020 when she was 13. So that's 5 years ago.
I think she's a senior.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't think she's 18 yet. I was under the impression that the only reason why there is a no contact is because she's still a minor.
Okay.
She could write letters though. Like they wrote letters back and forth.
Yes, I was saying that as well.
Yeah.
I think that like for her, she probably, cause like so like her mom goes to prison, like, she doesn't have contact ish besides the letters. But her, like, this small town, like, everyone still operates as normal. So, like, what I found really interesting was that everyone has their own feelings about her mom doing these things, very horrible things, horrible messages. But the Chloe's parents like had the Halloween party, like everyone like operating as normal. They dressed up like her mom.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so like I'm sure she's feeling mixed emotions.
Chloe's
and
whole
like
family gives mean girl
Here's
vibes.
the
mean
thing.
girl vibes for sure.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
So I had to like rewind it because I missed it the first time.
Yeah.
And I missed it the second time, but it like registered with me
Yeah.
the second time. And so I rewinded it and watched their last part of their interview where the mom, Chloe's mom, says, "I just knew Sean and Lauren were gonna make themselves to be the victim in all of this shit."
Mm-hmm.
They were the victim,
Yeah.
and like everyone else
Yeah.
was too. Like
Yeah.
Chloe definitely had got framed. She
Yeah.
was wrongfully accused.
Right.
Had a terrible time. The parents also had a
Right.
terrible time. So I think that it's again like that is a very immature take on like because we're hurting, like we're the only ones who get to hurt.
Yeah,
and so like
entitlement.
Right.
instead of the community being like we were all duped here,
Mm-hmm.
the school board was duped.
Yeah.
All these other parents were
Yeah.
duped. These kids were traumatized. All of these kids were abused and harassed and like everybody was gaslit.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
right?
yeah.
And so like again it's why do we need to like I don't know, like I said this to someone else the other day, like, hey, there's no suffering Olympics here. Like everyone
True.
can be a victim if you
Right.
are a victim, and they all
Yeah.
were.
Yeah.
But it was just like to how do you even say that? How do you even say that? Oh yeah, Sean and Lauren were gonna make themselves out to be a victim and get away with it. Get away with what?
Yeah, like traumatizing everyone's children. Like I don't.
Yeah.
Right.
And it I mean, went above traumatizing. It was definitely abuse because her mom was telling her to kill herself.
Yeah.
What
Yeah.
got me, what sent me, was the fact that her mom, her mom's the one behind it. Her mom's the one telling her to kill herself, like go do these horrible effed up things to herself. And her mom in the interview was like, I knew she wouldn't do it.
Yeah, if I didn't
Like,
know her
what?
as well as I knew her, it would have been different.
Absolutely not.
What fucking difference does it make?
I mean, like,
Does anybody think that she did want her to kill herself?
Yeah.
And that her and Owen would trauma bond together?
that's a
Ooh.
hot take.
That is a hot take. I
I
hadn't
think
thought about
she
that.
wouldn't have been, which this is horrible to say, and also this is just an opinion. I don't know that she would truly like be able to wrap her brain around if her daughter did actually kill herself. Like I don't think that like that would compute that like she's the one that caused it to happen.
Oh, no, I don't think she would think
No.
that. She would just be like, oh,
Yeah.
these horrible messages.
But I like
Leave it
I
at
mean
that.
I've had lots of suicidal clients. I'm sure you've like had your experience. Like when anyone says I want you to kill yourself, I have not had one client that would be like, "Oh, they didn't mean it."
Right.
You know, oh, it's like that. I mean, it's personal. Like it's like a very serious thing to say. So for her to not have remorse about that comment says more about her than any of the rest.
Yeah.
Personally, I think.
Yeah.
100%.
Because one of the things that you're bringing up is the experience that children have, and we see it in Lauren.
Mhm.
Like there's this conflict in her to where she's a little bit older, so that she has a little bit more emotional intelligence and ability to kind of like parse things out. But she was still struggling with it in that pink outfit, to where it's really difficult for kids to actually blame their parents.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And
Oh, yeah,
and to
because
hold their
they're-
kids accountable.
They're your hero.
Right. And so it's very difficult and it's very challenging to a child's psyche to hold their parents accountable. And so what do they do instead? Well, they make everything that happens to them and around them to mean something about them. So if mom is acting this way, if I feel unsafe in response to something that my parents are doing, it's not because my parents are unsafe. It must be something that I'm not doing good enough to deserve safety. So then it becomes about this I need to be better. I need to make it right. I need to figure out how to unlock the thing from mom and dad that I feel like I need in order to feel safe and love and secure. And so she's struggling with that on the bed in the pink outfit, to where she's like, yeah, I don't know if I believe her. But then and then in the next breath, she's like, and I don't think that I can go without seeing her, because it's still not. Maybe it was something with me. Maybe, you know. And so like that's the real twisted thing here. And so like when it comes to the book Attached. No, is it Attached? No, it's the book of The Power of Showing Up by Dan Siegel. He talks about this type of parenting that is the disorganized parenting style, to where sometimes mom is loving and playful and wonderful, and she feels safe and secure, and then at other times she's super unpredictable. And I never know what I'm going to get from her. She could snap at me on a dime, and I don't know what I did. And that creates this disorganized attachment style that ends up in adulthood as looking a lot like borderline personality disorder.
Sounds like
and so what happens is like with that type of parenting with Lauren, what was happening is mom is loving and involved and caring, and so that mammalian part of her brain that we all have that says, oh, whenever there's trouble, I need to seek a caregiver, and I need to seek out my primary attachment figure, which was her mother. And then this bomb drops in her life, to where the primary attachment figure that I have gone to for comfort and shelter and safety and security my whole life is the source of terror. And so now the reptilian brain says, run, get the fuck away, flee, while the mammalian brain is saying, yeah, but we need somebody to go to, and she's the only one we got. And so then there's that push-pull, that split of attachment style that is a lot like borderline personality, of like, I hate you, but don't leave me. You know?
Yeah.
So I would be interested, obviously, again, not diagnosing Lauren, but that type of experience is the type of shit that will mess up a person's brain in their developmental stages that leads them to struggle with something like borderline personality later on, because they're just like, I don't know who to trust. I don't know how to connect. I don't know how to feel secure.
I did feel hopeful for her when her dad was saying like, oh, we're like, I'm learning to connect with her better. Like in the end, when they were like recapping the growth that she's gotten to. And it did make me feel happy for her, because also a father-daughter relationship, especially in the teen years, really I feel can go only like one of two ways. Either the dad fully commits, because just in general, a father-daughter relationship, you know, you have like your baby and your beautiful little girl, but then a lot of fathers and men do struggle from like that pre-teen, like right when puberty hits until they're a full-grown adult. Guys do not know how to handle that very well. And so a lot, I feel, many father-daughter relationships really tend to separate during that time. And girls end up missing, and then fathers don't know how to deal with their new daughter that they have. And so I was happy to like see like, oh yeah, we are like, I'm able to meet her in this moment, and I'm able to like bond with her, and she trusts me and things like that. So that was a positive thing to hear.
Yeah, I mean,
on that part.
For all of the risk factors that we're talking about, there are some protective factors. Like her dad seems like he's genuinely doing his best, but what an overwhelming experience that has to be for him as well.
I wish they would have done. I wish he would have had more interview time.
Yeah.
Because like, what were the signs that he was seeing? Like, what was his experience? Because he's working all the time. Like, was he really just like not home? And also like, throughout the time, they were in separate homes. So like, what was the because I think they were not really divorced, but they were separated throughout this whole shenanigan. So
yeah,
like,
I saw that they like moved multiple times too.
But they had no money. So like, what was it like for him? Like, what was happening in his home versus, you know, Kendra's home? Like, what was the difference? And then also like, I mean, she wasn't working for a year. So like, also, I mean, what do you think she's doing at home?
Well, I think he
Well,
thought she
I don't
was
think
working.
he knew that she wasn't
He
working.
didn't. He didn't.
Yeah.
But like, I mean, to people that did know that she wasn't working, like, what do we think? She's not just, you know.
I don't know, but also, actually, I said, but also now it just left my mind. but hold on, maybe it'll come back to me. I just think it's crazy that they were not living together. They were not any of this, and I think that Netflix kind of lied to Kendra a little bit so that she would have more airtime. I think like tapping into the like make it all about me.
Oh.
Like, you know, with the like serial killers, they say like, oh yeah, like we just want to get to know you more, like to feed off of that. And then like because I feel like she talked a lot more than him. And
For sure.
and again, she was making it like about herself, and then he was just barely any airtime, and I also thought that too.
I mean, so many questions. Like, how, also, I mean, maybe this is like a marriage question, but like, how do you not know what the finances are? Like, how are you just like, all right, you know, here
Well,
you go. Like,
I
does
didn't
her
know that they weren't living together because he said like she handled all the finances.
Yeah, but
And
they were separated.
He's probably working his tail off and then just like handing over his paycheck to Kendra for her to manage. And then he's probably thinking maybe that makes more sense. Like we're living in two homes, we have two rents or two mortgage, whatever it is. And you know, like she's probably just gaslighting him all along the way too. I mean, like, well, things just cost this much or whatever. And he's probably what a lot of guys fall into, of like just going to work, drowning in work, trying to make ends meet, and he's just trusting this person. And then she's saying like, yeah, you know, like we had to pay this bill or this bill came up, and he was like, well, shit, you know. And so then he's just like, I'll work more. And
fair
yeah.
I mean, maybe separate bank accounts for everyone listening.
Yeah.
Hot take.
Or access to both.
Yeah.
Like, I mean,
well, also, like, was he not checking things? Like, I mean, I'm obviously not in a relationship, not married, but like, I check things often.
Yeah.
So, like, are we not just?
yeah. The only sign of true wealth is when you don't check things.
Yeah,
Like,
but they. I mean,
so if you don't have that, I remember
don't know,
days
like,
of also checking. Like,
these like super traditional gender role type allocations of like, I don't think it's that far fetched for a guy to just like, okay, I married this woman, she's the mother of my child, you know, like I'm going to go to work, she says that she's working, and like that allocation of responsibilities happens.
Also,
of just like,
I have a question leading into that, and just in general, does anybody think this was the first episode of Kendra? Like the first episode of her doing something fucking sane? Because to me it seems like there should have been
signs,
some type of signs, like some type of outburst maybe, or maybe she was doing this on a different level. Not obviously not to the extreme, but it seems like this is a huge event to like lead up, like just like, I don't know, somebody who's a sexual abuser, like you start somewhere, and this seems pretty severe to just start at this. So I wonder what their household was before.
well, and there was also something in like Lauren's peer was talking, I can't remember which girl it was just talking about like she always just kind of kept herself. She never really talked to us about what was really going on with her. So it does kind of sound like there might have been like a closed family system of like secrecy. And so then like Lauren's protecting mom and dad by just talking about sports, talking about, you know, trends and talking surface level stuff. And she was like, yeah, she's kind of like just always been emotionless. And she did have a very flat affect the entire, like monotone voice, flat affect, like didn't really express any variation in her like affect at all the entire time, which I thought was strange. So again, so might out of like a survival strategy of like keeping the family secrets secret, that I'm going to put on this face. I'm going to go to school. I'm going to be an athlete, and that's going to be the focus, or whatever it is. But yeah, I mean, that's also a good, interesting point to consider of like, yeah, I mean, this seems like such an extreme.
Yeah, let me just pick up the phone and start harassing my daughter.
Yeah, start telling my daughter that she's an ugly this,
whore.
that, and the other.
Like,
yeah.
what?
Well, the cousin did say that, like, she always loved attention, no matter, like, what was happening. Like, she wanted the attention to be on her.
Yes.
So, like, I found that to be interesting. And then also, like you said, this can't just come out of nowhere. You know, she probably had her moments, and she was probably kind of nutty. Like,
well, and Chloe's dad even said he said a couple days after this all started, he texted Sheriff Maine and was like, I think it could be Kendra. She's not a truthful person. So, like, what's the experience in the context there as well of, like, if that's true,
right?
which we already know we don't like Kendra's parents. No, Chloe's parents.
Yeah.
True.
You know, I have to say, so one time, and this one experience that I had has forever changed my view on, I wouldn't say podcasts like this because this is happening in real time, but when you're interviewed to make documentary style things, which I have been, and it threw me off. And then when this happened, now every time I watch something, I'm like, is this really happening? Because I really feel like sometimes they force you to say things and say things in certain ways. And we know, like, obviously entertainment, like shock value or whatever. I mean, obviously, like, no matter what, I'm still taking things with a grain of salt. But man, ever since I had to be like interviewed for like a documentary and I was saying something and like being myself, they're like, oh, cut, hold on. I want you to change like the tone and then say something like along like these lines, but like still what you want to say it, but like.
So there's storytelling.
Yeah.
Involved.
And then, and I'm just like, all right.
So what do you think was the story that the directors or the producers of this documentary were trying to tell? Like, what was...
I don't know, but I actually don't... Like, I think this was just to, like, raise Netflix. Like, fair. Boost their things. Because
Fair.
You could have made this documentary... Like, if you really wanted to, this documentary could have been very, very dark. It could have been... It was
already kind of dark.
I think it was like dark, but like on a PG level. Like, I think it could have really gone into
the suicidation, like how the daughter, like how Lauren like felt.
Yeah,
really, because it doesn't talk about
then
that.
It also has to. I mean, it has to take the willing parts, and the people have to do that. And do I think Kendra would have done that if she knew that she would have been to blame? Maybe she wouldn't have taken part in it. So I think they did have to like appeal to everybody to get their participation. So I do believe that it was a very topical documentary. I think it could have been like dark and gone like really in depth and like what psychological issues do you have? Like, what caused this? You're a horrible person, Kendra. Like, you are. I think that's like, that should have been the focus, not like, whoa, this crazy thing happened and you're like really crazy and small town vibes.
Yeah, I agree with you.
That's it.
I don't think Netflix or whoever was, the producer or director set out to tell a specific story with a point, with a purpose of like raising awareness on narcissistic parenting or on mental health impacts of cyberbullying. I don't think that was the point. I think the point was presented in the most outrageous way possible.
Like shock value.
Yeah, to shock as many people, to like hit them with that left hook of a plot twist with 30 minutes left in the documentary.
Yeah, like, who could it have been? And then, dun dun dun, it was the mom. And you're like, all right. Like, okay.
So I went into it not having known anything.
Oh, okay.
I didn't know it was the mom when I first watched it.
I like to watch the TikToks.
I did
that
watch
are,
some of the
where they're
TikToks
where they like
before.
the shock value ones,
Yeah.
and they're like, "What?" It's so fun. They're so funny.
Yeah, the ones that, but so then like I watched it a while ago. Didn't know it was the mom whenever I first started watching it, and then it started showing up on my TikTok, and like all these women doing the parody of Kendra and like taping their
I saw
nose
that.
up and like.
Bro, the only one that I saw that really resonated was somebody posted a photo. I love that you can post pictures and memes in TikTok comments now. Just really elevates it. But they posted a photo of Hunchback of Notre Dame. And that, to me, is...
The world is mean.
I think it fit. It looked just like her. Yeah.
All right, so... what else? Did we miss anything on the?
We are missing
Yes.
when they tell them, when they tell Lauren.
The
My
end when the cop comes in.
Yes.
The sheriff. By the way, he needs to go to a training
Yeah.
on
How to speak to people.
how to speak to, like how to
Yeah.
break bad news
Yeah.
to a teenage girl.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Bro.
It was so like, well, you know,
Well, you know,
Your
things
mom-
happen. Sometimes,
your mom did it, but like you'll survive.
you know, sometimes when people are going through a hard time, things happen.
They,
That's like what he said.
and I don't get why in the beginning he said, or somebody said, something was said, like, I gotta make sure that Lauren doesn't see the mom. Like, Lauren doesn't see Kendra when we tell her this. That was said.
Yeah.
I don't remember
When
that,
he's
but yeah.
they're walking up, and then they're like, put them together. I'm like,
So
this is literally what you just said not to do.
Can I bring something up?
Yeah.
Did anybody notice the dining room table?
Okay, yes, and I've seen TikToks about this.
I haven't.
And there has been no like
I ChatGPT'd it like, what was going on with all the alcohol on the table when they were catching
Yeah.
Kendra?
were they full bottles or empty
I
bottles?
don't know. Were they
They
like
look kinda
preparing
empty.
for like a party? Like, you
Yeah.
got money problems because you got $7,000 worth of alcohol
Yeah.
sitting on the dining room table
Yeah.
right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe they were
Like, what
moving
was
things
that?
around, cleaning things out. I don't
I
know.
mean, if you have that many bottles though, like
They
question
also
mark,
have like a
question mark.
$40,000 RV sitting in the
Oh,
driveway.
I did see
Yeah.
that.
Or I don't know how much it was, but it was like a fifth wheel, I think. Which
I mean,
they're
they're
not
not
Yeah, no,
cheap.
no, those
They're
are-
not
those are
cheap.
whole
So
homes.
again, yeah, it's like, and then Lauren comes in from what looks like a, like I don't know if she was sunbathing or at a
Mhm.
pool or whatever, but anyhow, yeah, the whole thing, that whole situation, the first thing I noticed was like, that's a lot of booze.
Mhm. Well, and for them to just be like nonchalantly having that much alcohol with a 13-year-old, like in general, red flags. But like more red flags because she's 13, having all of her friends around. I'm not sure how many 13-year-olds like Kendra knows. Clearly a lot.
A
but
lot of
like,
them.
Yeah.
but like for that to be just so chill, I mean, 13-year-olds are gonna get into things. They're gonna be like, ooh.
Well, you know as well as I do, coming from a small town,
Yeah.
like there's always like the cool parents,
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
to where they're like, well,
Yeah.
we
As
know
long
you're
as
gonna do it anyways.
Yeah, better safe
Yeah.
to do it here.
Better safe to do it here, and then like again, that's but that happens. So I don't know. I don't know if like because it seems like Kendra definitely was given that like I want to be the cool mom.
Yeah.
Let
But
this be the
again,
place.
needy.
Yeah.
She needed that. She
Just
had
the
been
center of
yeah.
the attention.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that came up
Yeah.
a lot in the ChatGPT thing of like narcissistic personality disorder, needing to be the center of attention, needing to be the irreplaceable one, needing to be the, like just needing to be needed all the time.
Mm-hmm.
By inserting herself into these roles that she gets all of this
Yeah,
kind
let
of
me
like
present
validation.
chaos to then
Yeah.
solve it
Yeah.
and be the hero.
Yeah.
Well, and that shows when she was like, when the cop was like, telling the news, and then she's like, hugs her.
Oh my
I
god.
wanted to scream.
It was so repulsive.
It was like I don't love like physical touch. That's just like not me. The way that she was visibly like not down for a hug, and she's like clenching her.
Yeah, she's just like
what are you? I would have had to come apart. Like, I mean, that part was insane to me.
yeah, to me it just proved and showed the audience how much Lauren was okay with being submissive to her mom in most moments. And because I think, and like, I know if that happened with my daughter and she found out I did something like that, my daughter would literally throw hands like at me. She would just lose her mind.
I kind of believe you, and I don't know Gracie that well, but yeah,
few people here do. But yeah, that was wild to watch. Really gross also, because I don't, again, the way the sheriff handled that, in my eyes, they should have removed Lauren immediately and be like, oh yeah, we just need to talk to your mom and dad. We're going to take you over somewhere else. And then,
given the nature,
and then taking them apart. There's no way it's just was horribly done. Yeah.
Like, given the nature of, like, we're talking about, one of the things that blew my mind was how she caught 0 sex offense charges.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
This was not just stalking. This was sexual harassment of a minor, multiple minors.
Yes. And we really haven't even talked about like her and Owen either.
Right.
Like really going into that.
So like the nature of like what the sheriff knew had happened, the things that had been said, and the fact that like he brings the victim into the room with the perpetrator who has been sexually harassing her and her boyfriend for almost years now, right?
And they said so many times in being interviewed, saying like how horrible the messages were.
Yeah, how graphic and just awful. And
700 pages, like all this stuff.
And then you're gonna just let her be in the room and like let her touch her like that.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Big red flags, but also like, was CPS involved? Or like, I mean, CPS in Tennessee, but like, what is
whatever Child Protective Services equivalent
Michigan.
is? Yeah, like that was the other thing is like you don't think to have like a social worker present to like immediately attend to.
Get her,
well, and I don't know about removed because the dad was there, but still like immediately have a child support or a child protective services social worker or somebody on the scene to like deal with Lauren and like be there and to like talk through support and options.
Yeah, that to me that just is a highlight for how small their law enforcement section is, because again, I come from a law enforcement background with my whole family. So to me that just shows that they were not well equipped. Like, I mean, they even had to call in the FBI, and for what the FBI did, they could have done. Like most police departments, they can issue
warrants.
Yeah, you just have to pull it. So that they had to go ask for the FBI to help seemed that it was very obvious that they were just
under-equipped.
These things don't happen all the time, and they don't know. Yeah,
underprepared.
Do you think it was that, or do you think it was like to add to the drama, to make it spicier? Because would it have taken a year to find someone's phone number linked to?
But they didn't know they were writing this documentary about it, so they had to that. Unfortunately,
that's fair.
Yeah.
Well, and so I know that it would not have made a difference. It wouldn't have made a difference because, was her name Jill, Owen's mom?
Oh,
yes. Jill. She had come in one scene where she's talking to Sheriff Maine and she's just like crying. You can tell that she's just like at her wit's end because he had talked about it started to make him feel suicidal.
Yeah.
And he had asked, like, did you get a new number? Did you whatever? And she's like, yeah, but it doesn't make a difference. But like that would have, like, if this was happening to Jamin, my 17-year-old, and he was getting harassed and things like that, I'd be like, dude, like, let's just get you a new number.
Yeah.
Yeah, they didn't do that.
Like, or something, some other thing other than like, but the obvious.
Right.
To protect your children. Well, why should my kid have to get a new phone?
Their excuse was that they wanted to, like, clearly it was somebody on the inside, so they still want to find out who it was. And it's like, you can do both.
Right.
Like, maybe it'll stop, but the investigation won't stop. So in the meantime, give your child peace of mind and change the phone number.
Yeah.
And then go from there. Only give it out to certain people. And then if the messages start again, then like we could have been smarter here.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah.
So anyways, the whole thing is just bizarre. So, anything else on ChatGPT's side?
Oh, well, to mention the FBI getting involved, Mike Main was the name of the sheriff. It took him more than half a year to get any progress. The FBI guy figured it out in a couple of days.
Yeah.
But also just the fact, some things that we glossed over was how she wasn't just targeting Owen and Lauren, but Owen's cousin, Adriana. She framed Chloe, the mean girl, like very intentionally because she had basketball scores and everything like that. And then Owen's new girlfriend.
Oh, yeah.
Girlfriend's mom.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Yeah, so
Yeah,
it's in the
she
documentary
messaged.
where Owen gets his new girlfriend in a town like 2 hours away.
Oh.
And then the mom of the new girlfriend starts getting text messages.
What?
Yeah.
So, like, the links that she went to and adding in all of these different characters, I mean, it's all obviously wild, but, like, that feels so extreme. Like, I want to know, like, what did she want the end goal to be? Like, in her, like, obviously, you know, super messed up, like, but what did she, in her mind, like, what was she thinking was going to happen?
I just think she was bored, and I think it was shock value. Like, I don't think there was an end goal because it never ended.
Yeah.
Like, they broke up, he found a new girlfriend, and it continued. So I don't think there was an end goal. I think it was just her unhappiness with her own life and wanting to add something for herself, and this gave her
An out.
something to do.
So I've watched like a lot of shows like Criminal Minds,
I love Criminal Minds.
things like that, where it talks about like these psychopathic, you know, eventually they all want to get caught. Like it's a game for them at first.
Yeah. Like how long
Right,
can they go?
and then they feel this sense of superiority, and they're untouchable, they're invincible, and then for many of them, like then they start leaving breadcrumbs, and they start getting sloppy because they just want it to end, because they know that they're never going to be satisfied, and they know that they're never going to, you know, like achieve whatever it is that the compulsion tells them that they need to get out of it or whatever. And so eventually they just want to get caught, but they don't know how to stop. They don't know how to not do the compulsion. And so then whenever I was using ChatGPT to talk about like mental health diagnoses, OCD was one of the things that came up of like, it just seemed that she could not do it. It was like a compulsion. She had to pick up the phone. She had to send the text messages. She had to follow up with the new girlfriend. She just had to do all of this stuff. And so I don't know what the end goal would have been. I mean, thank God they found out and stopped her when they did. But like, who knows? Maybe she would have like tried to proposition Owen at some point, or, you know, like escalated to like.
I bet you she would have. Like, oh, like, let's meet here.
The moment he turned 18, maybe she was just going to, like, then go at it or go after him or whatever. But, yeah, no, who knows? Who knows? But it was, it kind of brings up another, like, a question for me of, like, the cultural outcome here. Of, like, how does this impact us as we're watching this, as we're looking at the lives of like these children, right? We're peering into their trauma, and then we sit here on a podcast like we're doing today, and we have a bunch of judgments, and we have a bunch of thoughts, and we have a bunch of opinions, and it's also just kind of like the impact on culture as a whole of like, this is just like a normal thing for us. To know that these things are happening and to have this much access to people's lives. Usually documentaries back whenever I was like a kid, a documentary was something that happened with a bunch of people that were already dead. And then we're like historically recovering their story or whatever. These people are still alive. And so I was thinking, like, what is the impact? Because I looked it up. I was like, what's Kendra doing now? Where's she living? Where's she working? And there's like no record of it right now other than she's living near Detroit with family, but like don't know where she's working, don't know if she's romantically involved with anybody or anything like that. But she still has a life to live. And she's, like you pointed out earlier, a pretty recognizable face.
Yeah.
Like, I was thinking, like, I wonder, like, what does she do? Does she, like, change her hair? Does she, like, what does she do to not be so recognizable?
What you're bringing up right now is just hitting for me. Like, that's like Casey Anthony.
Yeah. Like,
Like,
these people are
lives in
still alive.
Murfreesboro and works at a Crunch.
Yeah.
Fitness.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Damn,
Yes, she moved last year, I think, or 2 years ago maybe, to Murfreesboro.
With her man that's from Tennessee.
Yes.
Huh.
Yeah, she moved from Florida.
She finally found somebody who could fix her.
Sure.
That feels like another podcast.
Yeah. That's a whole nother 2 hours. Yeah, but that's exactly it. Like, because these things are happening now.
And we're just like
time.
telling the story while people are still alive and living it.
Yeah.
That's nuts to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, going back to like the child piece, it does say a lot about the culture we're in, I think, because I think the misconception that's kind of like coming out is that there's a lot of expectation of like how the kid should be reacting and like what the kid should be doing, and like almost adultifying, if you will, the children. Because like at the end of the day, she's still a kid.
Yeah.
Like she probably like obviously these texts impacted her, you know, to a very extreme amount. Like that is fact. However, she also still probably wants a new boyfriend. She also still wants to go to a D1 college and play basketball or softball, or, you know, she was a very athletic gal, you know, so like she's still a child at the end of the day. And all these documentaries that are coming out about children, like we're expecting them to react like adults or like have reactions like we would, and they're not gonna, because they're still developing and they're still a child.
Also, that you highlight a really good point. The parents had to approve this documentary.
Yeah.
So
that's what I was thinking. I was like,
you're still subjecting your child that already went through a bunch of trauma. And granted, every one of them went through different levels of it. But you are saying, for this paycheck, I will allow you to go through more trauma. Because if I really, really, really believed that my child was suffering, then I would have to say, like, I'm sorry, we're not partaking in this for no amount of money until she is 18. And if you want to interview her then interview her. But, like, we are... it is 2025.
Yeah.
This just ended. Like, you're still tiny. You're still hurting. You haven't even processed this. 6 months of therapy does not fix this. So let me just put these cameras in front of your face. Let things go viral. Like, we aren't, like, nobody's stupid.
yeah.
Nobody doesn't know that this is going to go viral. So also watching this, I think a lot falls back on the parents allowing this to even happen. Because if I really truly felt that my child was not healed or did suffer to the extent, I would not do it. I would say, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You're going to have to wait. And you want to wait just 2 more years? Fine, whatever.
Sure.
But I think that also is like something that was looked over as well.
Yeah. Which kind of brings up, like, who knows what their motives were? Maybe it was financial. Maybe they're just, like, desperate.
Right. Yes.
Could be.
Clearly.
You know. And I think that there's also, like, this phenomenon of, like, get famous for whatever reason. Like, there's no bad reason to be famous anymore.
Right.
Right? And so, like, yeah, you can, monetize your trauma. Why not? You got trauma, you might as well get something out of it that's useful, right? But yeah, I just also, like, can't imagine opening myself up to that level of scrutiny and things like that. Like, I get nervous being on TikTok, and, like, on the one hand, like, I want to have influence and I want to be helpful and I want to, like, help social workers and mental health practitioners and things like that. But I also get nervous about the idea of, like, going viral and, like, truly being recognizable out in public. Like, I'm not sure that I want that level
I know quite a few famous people, and I draw back for that reason, because everybody changes when that happens. But it's wild.
All right, any closing thoughts, ideas, observations?
No, don't put your kids on the internet.
Yeah, not to that. Oh, I will say this is not a closing thought, but I did see that, I guess Chloe made, like, a TikTok, and then all the comments were like, Chloe, nobody cares. This is not about you. Like, again, like, stop making it about you. This is, like, we see what happened and it's okay. But they're like, we didn't need extra clarification. And
I didn't see that, but
yeah. Small town vibes.
Yeah, and I think too, like, her TikToks kind of just, like, spoke to, like, her character in the documentary, and, like, made it very much so okay. Like, again, this is, you did confirm you were a mean girl. You did cause everyone trauma.
You did throw those carrots.
You did, and, like, for what? To get famous, to go viral? Well, she only has 2 TikToks, and I think that, like, they were taken down, the rest of them, because there was, like, a part. There's only 2, on her page.
Yeah.
So.
Wow.
Yeah.
But that's where I learned the DSM. Is that what it was?
Yeah.
Somebody made a TikTok, a therapist or whatever, and she was saying there needs to be a category in the DSM just about female small town.
We saw the same thing.
It's like a blonde girl.
It's the blonde.
Yes.
I follow her on TikTok, and we've like commented on each other's stuff.
Oh, okay.
And she was like, "Yeah, there needs to be a study done on small town moms."
Yes,
and we were talking about that too. Like,
I saw that one.
Yeah.
And that's where I was like, "Wait, DSM, I know that," and it was
that one. Yeah, Emily BPD or something like that. Like, she's a really, I really like her stuff on TikTok. It's hilarious. But yeah, a study on small town moms. I think is long overdue, because again, it's just like in the beginning of the documentary, they were like, one of the girls, Phoebe or whoever it was Sophie. She was like, and like the adults, like, they don't have anything to do either, and so they're just like commenting and like gossiping about us teenagers and what we're doing, like.
Right.
Oh, and then like they're making Facebook posts too about
which
other
is
things.
So bananas. Stay in your lane.
Yes.
Facebook posts about what?
About other things, like things that happened in the past, but it's just it talked about how they were constantly in the kids' lives. Like something was happening in the sports, so then like a mom posted on Facebook like, my daughter's being bullied, and
Adriana's mom.
The cousin's mom. Yeah, so I don't know if we just what needs to happen, an intervention in small town America or something, but like
I think it's just it's a boredom issue.
Yeah, get a hobby.
Yeah.
Well, there are no hobbies. I mean, literally, like I graduated in a town where the cows outnumber the people like 8-1.
Oh wow.
One again, like one stop, not a lot of people. Yeah. One stop sign, like it was just nothing. Like you had to drive 30-35 minutes away, and so what did we do? Like if you didn't have a sport or a job to keep you occupied, like there's a lot of drug use. There was a lot of like we had several people in our graduating class pregnant, and so like it's just things. There's just not enough to keep kids active.
Parents active.
And parents, yeah. So. Anyways.
Wow.
Yeah. Well, thank you for being here. This was fun.
It was great. It's always great.
All right. You're going to Brazil tomorrow?
Oh, yeah. Wow.
For 3 weeks?
Yes.
Well, enjoy that.
I will.
All right.
I'm going to go see family.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. thank you for being here too for your second
Yes.
podcast.
Fun.
Yeah, awesome.
Always
awesome,
a good
awesome.
yap.
All right, good yap.
Love it.
All right. Well, that's it. That's a wrap.